She said it loud enough for half the beach to hear. I just asked him to put sunscreen on my back. If you're jealous, go home. Everyone froze for a moment. Then came that awkward, half-hearted laughter people do when they don't know which side to take. Mira laughed the loudest. She turned back to the tour guide, still smiling, still performing as if I were invisible, and maybe in her world I was. I didn't argue, didn't roll my eyes, didn't give her the satisfaction of a scene. I just looked at her once, really looked, and said quietly, "All right." Then I turned and walked away, smashed that like button, hit subscribe, and keep watching, because the best part's coming up next. No yelling, no dramatic goodbye, just silence. That silence, I think, hit her harder than any argument ever could. Her name's Mira. We'd been together almost 2 years. She was the kind of person who never entered a room quietly. Laughter that filled the space, energy that pulled everyone's eyes toward her. Charismatic, confident, addictive. When we first met, that spark was what drew me in. She was all color, noise, and life, and I'd been craving that after years of gray. But over time, I started seeing something else. A need behind that confidence. She didn't just enjoy attention, she depended on it, like oxygen. If I ever said something made me uncomfortable, maybe how she'd lean too close to a stranger or laugh a little too long at some guy's jokes, she'd laugh it off. "You're overthinking again," she'd say. "I'm just friendly." That was her favorite line, just friendly. And I used to let it slide. Not because I didn't care, but because I believed you can't stop someone from crossing a line if they really want to. People reveal themselves over time. You just have to watch long enough. When she invited me on that beach trip with her friends, I said yes. I needed the break, and maybe deep down I wanted to see if she'd act the same way when everyone around knew I was her boyfriend. Her friends were exactly what I expected. Loud, always filming, always posing, always performing. They lived for the camera, and Mira was their star. She thrived under that attention, soaking it up with every laugh and every flash of the lens. The first day went fine. We swam, drank by the pool, took pictures. She teased me a few times, small jabs that sounded playful but carried a tiny sting underneath. I ignored it. But on the second day I saw it in her body language before she even said a word. The way she flipped her hair, the way she laughed a little louder than usual. She wasn't just having fun, she was performing. That's when Leo showed up, the tour guide. Tan, fit, easy smile, the kind of guy who probably didn't even realize how many women flirted with him. Mira noticed, though. Within minutes, she was talking to him, touching his arm, complimenting his tattoos, asking him questions that had nothing to do with the tour. I sat there on the sand, towel in hand, watching quietly. Then she called out to him again. "Hey, can you help me with my back?" Her voice was sweet, deliberate. She didn't look at me once. I was right there. She didn't care. That's when I realized Mira didn't want a boyfriend. She wanted an audience, and I was done being her mirror. When she turned and saw me watching, she smirked. "What? Don't tell me you're jealous again." Then louder so everyone could hear, she said it. "I just asked him to put sunscreen on my back." If you're jealous, go home. That wasn't about sunscreen. That was about power. About showing everyone she could humiliate me and still expect me to stay. The laughter that followed wasn't real. It had that tight, uneasy edge people get when they know something's wrong but don't want to get involved. I didn't say a word. I just picked up my towel, shook the sand off, and walked away. Behind me, she called out, still pretending to be in control. "Are you serious?" "Adam, don't ruin the mood. You can sulk later." But I didn't turn around, because when someone publicly disrespects you, turning back is just volunteering for more. Back in the hotel room, I stood by the window for a while, watching the waves roll in. The sun was still high, the air still warm, but something in me had gone completely still. That's when I knew it was over. Real endings don't come with shouting or tears, they come with quiet certainty. I packed my bag slowly, methodically, folded shirts, unplugged chargers, zipped my suitcase. Every movement felt like I was reclaiming some small piece of myself I'd given away to her chaos. Before leaving, I looked around the room one last time. Her things were scattered everywhere. Sunglasses, makeup bag, phone charger tangled by the bed. It all looked careless, entitled, exactly like her. Downstairs, the receptionist smiled when I handed him the key. "Checking out early?" he asked. "Yeah," I said. "And the other guest?" "She's staying a little longer." Outside, the air smelled of salt and sunblock. The shuttle to the airport was waiting. I climbed in, sat by the window, and watched the resort fade behind me. No anger, no guilt, just peace. On the plane, I scrolled through old photos of us. Smiles, selfies, beaches, dinners. Every one of them looked fake now. Not because she was pretending, but because I had been. Pretending everything was fine, pretending respect didn't matter as long as there was love. But love without respect is just noise. When we landed the next morning, my phone lit up like fireworks. Messages, calls, missed voice notes. All from Mira. "Are you really doing this? You just left? Everyone's asking where you are. This is humiliating." Then another, "You're overreacting. It was just a joke. Don't make this bigger than it is." And then finally, "They're making me pay for your part of the room. My card isn't going through. Can you just transfer it so I can check out?" I stared at that one for a while, then I locked my phone. Sometimes silence is the most expensive answer you can give. By noon, my phone was still buzzing. I turned it face down on the table and kept working. Then a text came through from an unknown number. "Hey man, this is Daniel. Mira's friend. She's freaking out. The hotel's asking her to pay your part since it's one booking. Her card's getting declined. She's crying at the front desk. Thought you should know." I typed 2 words. "She'll manage." Half an hour later, another ping. A screenshot from their group chat. Mira arguing with the manager, voice raised, still pretending to be in control. Then one of her friends, Chloe, sent, "You told him to go home if he's jealous. Guess he just did." No one replied after that. By evening, her tone shifted. Her messages turned from angry to desperate to soft. "Please, I'm sorry. Can we just talk? You embarrassed me by leaving like that. They're making me look stupid. The hotel won't let me check out. Just transfer the money, please." I didn't reply, because I knew it wasn't about the money. It was about control, something she'd just lost and couldn't stand losing. That night, Daniel texted again. "She's asking everyone for cash. No one's helping. She's losing it, man." I wrote back one last time. She told me to go home. Later, Mira posted a story. A sunset photo with the caption, "When you love someone insecure, they'll always find a reason to run." The comments were brutal. Even her friends called her out. "He didn't run, you pushed him." She deleted it within 10 minutes. but screenshots live forever. And for the first time in a long while, I didn't feel the need to defend myself, because the truth doesn't need a microphone, it just needs time. A few days passed, then a new number called. I almost admired the persistence, so I answered. The line was quiet at first, then her voice small, shaky. "You really left me there, Adam." "I had to call my mom for money. Do you know how humiliating that was?" I said nothing. "You didn't even check if I was okay," she continued. "After everything we've been through, that's how you treat me?" Over one stupid comment? I finally spoke, calm and even. "No, Mira. Not over one comment. Over every time you thought disrespect was cute. Every time you made me feel invisible." "That comment was just the last straw. I was joking," she said quickly. "You weren't," I replied. "And even if you were, it still told me everything I needed to know." There was silence. Then quietly she said, "You didn't even fight for me." I almost laughed. Not cruelly, just at the irony. "You told me to go home, Mira." I just listened. She paused for a long time, then whispered, "You've changed." "No," I said. "I just stopped mistaking your chaos for passion." She hung up after that. No yelling, no crying, just silence. A heavy, final kind of silence that fills the air after a long storm finally ends. That was the last time we spoke. I didn't block her. Didn't need to. She stopped trying. And that silence, it felt better than closure ever could. Weeks later, I met someone new. Her name's Claire, works in marketing. Calm, kind, easy to talk to. No games, no performances. When we talk, it feels peaceful, not dull. Like quiet after years of noise. Sometimes peace feels so unfamiliar that you mistake it for boredom. But after Mira, I knew better. Peace isn't boring. It's healing. A few days ago, Daniel texted one last time. "Hey man, Mira's back home, says she learned her lesson." I replied, "Good for her," then muted the chat. I don't hate her. I don't forgive her either, I just don't care anymore. Some people only learn when the bill arrives, literally and metaphorically. I'm just glad I left when I did before I forgot what peace felt like. Now every morning feels quieter, not empty, just right. So yeah, maybe I did go home. But for the first time in years, it finally feels like home. You know, what struck me most about this story isn't just the heartbreak. It's the moment he chose silence over chaos. Sometimes walking away quietly says more than any argument ever could. We romanticize fighting for love, but the truth is, love isn't supposed to be a battlefield. It's supposed to be peace, respect, safety. And once you've experienced real peace after years of noise, you'll never settle for noise again. This story isn't about revenge. It's about reclaiming self-respect, about learning that sometimes going home is the bravest thing you can do. If this story touched you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more emotional narratives like this, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever had to walk away from someone who mistook your silence for weakness? Let's talk about it. Your story might just help someone else find their peace.